Shalom. I'm in my workspace, so I'm gonna do some reading and basically want to ask some questions. So I'm gonna deal with Romans 1. The whole book of Romans or the whole letter of Romans, it's not really any chapters to it, but I'm only going to use what they've broken it down to one and just ask some questions of it and see if I can you know give some people some insight with my questions and see what they actually have to say. Excuse my area back there. You can see the vinyl, see the shirts, but um coming up in Christianity, they used to always, promote Romans 1:16. And so that's an emphasis that I want to also deal with because, it says, something about being unashamed and about, the the Jew or the Roman or is it the Jew and anyway, I'm a Jew in the Greek, I think it is. But I'm gonna read and we're gonna get some asking some questions. So let's roll. All right. So I'm gonna share my screen and get to some of this text real quick. All right. Well, Abba Yah, thank you for this opportunity again to just be able to speak. Let me be able to share according to your will and purpose and not be too biased. I know I have my own bias, but let it not be anything that be contrary to your will and stance. So let me go forth, sharing my screen. All right. So Romans 1. And so I'm gonna just probably just go one verse at a time, and it wasn't even broken down in verses either. So Paul, which we know, or Shual, is a Roman citizen, but he also was born of the stock or lineage of Israel. So though he was a Roman citizen, he was actually an Israelite by birth. His biology was Israelite, and he's from the tribe of Benjamin. And so it says Shual, a servant of Yahusha, Messiah, a called emissary separated to the good news of Elohim. So many would say gospel, but good news works better because gospel means God spell, and we're not dealing with any type of spells, none of that. So, what is the good news? Many have projected and say it was the good news of Yahusha HaMashiach, but Yahusha himself said the good news was of the kingdom. The kingdom. I could actually do a search and read some of what Yahusha said or what would be considered the red letter text, but I'm not going to do that right now. But he over and over said that the good news or the glad tidings was of the kingdom, the coming kingdom. Okay, which he promised before through his prophets in the set apart scriptures. What are the set apart scriptures? Are they the Brit Hadashah or the New Testament? Or are they the Tanakh, the Torah? See, Messiah or Yahusha, the Messiah, is a New Testament person. So this book or this letter of Romans, when was it written? That's a question that people should ask. When was it written? And the books of the New Testament were not published before this letter in Romans were published. So people didn't have access to it. So set apart scriptures would be talking about what? And what prophets? What prophets were in the New Testament? Seeing this given credit he promised to Messiah or Yahusha. But Yahuwah was the one who promised through his prophets. It was not Yahusha. That's a contrary thing. But some will say that they're the same. All right, keep going. Okay, no, see, here it goes, the clarity concerning his son. Good news of Elohim. So see, I'm in error. I'm speaking out of turn, which I should have known that or whatever, because I've read this many times before. But see, I'm speaking out of turn. Maybe on purpose, maybe not. But no, I'm speaking out of turn because it's saying concerning his son, whom came of the seed of Dawid, according to the flesh. Okay, so let's get back to asking the question. He came of the seed of Dawid. What is the seed of Dawid? Is that semen according to the flesh? The seed of Dawid would be his semen, wouldn't it? Wouldn't it be? Okay, that's just a question. All right, keep going. Who is designated son of Elohim with power? Well, according to Exodus 4:22, all of Israel, the remnant, are all sons of Elohim. But it says with power, so I'll elevate him higher. I have no problem with that. According to the set apart spirit, by the resurrection from the dead, Yahusha Messiah, the master of us. Yahoo is my master. The high priest is not the master. He's a representative. He's a proxy. Interesting. Through whom we have received favor and office of the emissary for belief obedience among all the nations on behalf of his name. Among all the nations on behalf of his name. Who's his name? Is this talking about Yahuwah's name? Or is it talking about Yahusha's name? I would say it would have to be Yahuwah's name because his name is the name that's greater than all. And Yahusha just means Yahuwah's salvation. Among whom you are also called the called ones of Yahusha HaMashiach. Called ones. Messiah is also anointed also. To all who are in Rome, so this is to Rome, beloved of Elohim. So he's speaking to those in Rome, called set apart ones. So these are believers he's speaking to, not just any random person, but to believers, not just any Romans, not the Roman citizens or whatever, but those that are set apart ones, believers. Favor to you and peace from Elohim, our Father. Elohim, our Father, and the Master, Yahusha, Messiah. So it is acknowledging it, Elohim is the Father, and it's setting him separate from the Master or the person labeled Master. I don't know. I guess I'm submitted under him. So I guess the term master is not offensive. So I'm going to leave that alone, not make a fight on that. Even though Yahuwah is my master, but I don't mind setting myself under, one of his prophets or whatever. So that's not a problem. I'm not going to make a big issue out of that. First, I truly thank my Elohim, Yahuwah, through Yahusha Messiah, for you all, that your belief is spoken of in all the world. I thank Elohim through Yahusha Messiah for you all, for belief is spoken of in all the world. Okay, I got a question. Belief is spoken of in all the world. All right, where's the record of this? Is this just a claim? Because it's spoken of in Rome. And I would say it's spoken in Judea, but where's the record of it being spoken of Egypt? And there's historical record that China or Asia was active during this time. Where is it spoken of in Asia? North and South America, as we call it now, or whatever, the Americas. Where's the record of it? Did they even have any record of anybody from this region, from Rome, from Judea, even traveling to that side? So spoken of in all the world, or are they speaking of a specific domain or dominion. Maybe they're talking about the Roman territories, what they considered the world. But if they were talking about the whole world, who spoke to these people in all the world? And if they're speaking to all the world, where's the record of it? Or is it just a claim without any proof to it? That's the question. Okay. For Elohim is my witness. Your witness of what? That it was spoken in all the world? Where did you go in the world other than Rome, in that region, that that you could have him as a witness, whom I serve with my spirit in the good news of his son? Again, not just Yahusha is a son, Israel is a son. How unceasingly I make mention of you. So he making mention of those, in Rome, I guess. Okay. Always asking in my prayers, if at all possible, I shall be blessed by the desire of Elohim to come to you. So he want to come back to those in Rome, those he's writing letters, that's his city. But again, he was speaking previous about spoken about in all the world. Where is it listed that Paul went all over the world? We got these different letters to these different, assemblies that he went to, these congregations and synagogues. Sometimes they tried to say it was churches, but those letters are not all over the world. Those are still in that region. You don't see anywhere on what would be considered the West. So when he says world, what does he mean? Okay, for I long to see you so as to impart some spiritual gift to you for you to be established. Again, these people are people in fellowship with Yahuwah, that have a relationship, that are believers, that he's writing this to. This is not to just anybody. And that is to be encouraged together among you, each by the other's belief, both yours and mine. So again, he's speaking to people believe, right? Is that not what it's saying? Or is he speaking to just any random person? Is this just to anybody who's reading this? Is this to us? Or is he speaking about a specific person's during a specific time? And I do not wish you to be unaware, brothers. He specifically calls them brothers, that I often purposed to come to you, but was hindered until now, in order to have some fruit among you, also among the other nations. So among these other nations, where is he talking about? All the nations of the world, because he said world earlier, or are he talking about the ones that they have people that are connected to them, other believers? What is he talking about? It says, I am a debtor both to Greeks and to foreigners. Okay, Romans, Greeks, same thing. So this letter is to the Roman and to foreigners, both to wise and to foolish. That is why I am so eager to bring the good news also to you who are in Rome. Okay, that's his home place. For I'm not ashamed of the good news of Messiah, for it is the power of Elohim for deliverance to everyone who believes. Was everyone in the world, everyone believing? No. For the Yahudi first, Yahudi. So that would be those in Yahudim or in Judah, or what was called Judah, and also to the Greek, for those in Rome, the people he's writing the letters to. But when people have said this, they used to say 1:16, for I'm not ashamed, and they would say gospel, of course. But this right here is speaking of specific people. Yahudi first would be his relatives. That's the city that he claimed, because he said he's Benjamin, but he's from Israel, and Yahudi or Yahudim or Judah is a city that he was preaching and teaching out of. And then to the Greek, so the Romans. This ain't to everybody. He ain't talking about everybody. He said, but to my hometown first, but then to the place I got citizenship. But this is, people have made this to be the whole world he's talking about. But he specifically said Yahudi. Did he say the Egyptians? Where they at? Did he say the Chinese or Asians or you know? Come on, did he say that? No. Did he say the Turkish? Did he say the Ethiopians? We knew Ethiopians were around, but he didn't say that. He said Yahudi first and also to the Greek. That's just two groups. That's just two nations. That's not a whole world. It's only two nations. For in it the righteousness of Elohim is revealed from belief to belief, and it has been written, but the righteous shall live by belief. So again, he's talking about believers. But of course, go back, Yahudi first and then the Greek. This letter is to Romans, which, you know, that was a Roman Greek territory. And of course, Judah or Yahudim or Yahuda was a Roman and Greek held territory. So he said to them first and then to the Greek. So he's dealing with a specific people group. He ain't talking to everybody. But yet people have used this, you know, in America, and it has nothing to do with America. But they made it to fit because it sounded good. It was a very catchy phrase, 116. But it didn't have nothing to do with 116. Well, I'm not ashamed of the. Okay, so you unashamed, but you quoting something that doesn't even relate to you. And I guess you know you want to superimpose yourself there, but this wasn't talking to you. This is Paul talking about the believers in one region and another that he had connection to. The two regions that he had connection to. But of course, this has been made to be a Christian document. It ain't got nothing to do with Christians. It has to do with an Israelite speaking about people who believe as he does from the town that he was in and from the town he was from. It's not talking about a whole nation. The world, excuse me. It's talking about a nation, two different nations, but it ain't talking about all the nations because it specifically said for one first and then also the other. Where are the other ones at? Where are Egypt? Where are all these other nations at? It ain't talking about them. It ain't. For the wrath of Elohim is revealed from heaven against the wickedness and unrighteousness of men who suppress the truth in unrighteousness. Because, okay, all right. No questions really there. He revealing his righteousness, which is going to deal with wickedness and unrighteousness of men. Those that suppress unrighteousness, that suppress the truth, and unrighteousness, they're going to deal with it. Because that which is known of Elohim is manifest amongst them, for Elohim has manifested it to them. He's revealed so much to people, but yet people ignore it. Right here, this text is to the Romans, but the Roman believers. This was not to Pilate. It wasn't to his soldiers. This was to believers. This wasn't to everybody. And then it specifically said right there in 16, the Yahudi first, Yahudim, and then also to the Greek. So this letter is going to the Romans, the Greeks. And so he was in where? Jerusalem is a city where? In Judah? Yahudim? Okay. All right. For since the creation of the world, his invisible qualities have been clearly seen. Again, this is talking about Yahuwah. Being understood from what has been made, both his everlasting power and mightiness, for them to be without excuse. Because although they knew Elohim, they did not esteem him as Elohim. Okay, so they are aware of him. But belief is more than just being aware of him. When you believe in the Most High, it's supposed to change your direction. It's supposed to turn you towards his way from your own way. So they didn't give him thanks, nor gave thanks, but became vain in their reasonings. And their undiscerning heart was darkened. Claiming to be wise, they became fools and changed the esteem of the incorruptible Elohim into the likeness of an image of a corruptible man. They start worshiping an image of man and of birds and four-footed beasts and reptiles. See, I guess I could go on a tangent here myself and stuff and say, we weren't supposed to worship none of the prophets. And that would include Yahusha. Supposed to esteem Elohim. Not Yahusha, who was, body was bruised and beaten. He was pierced. Okay. What's bruises? Ain't that corruption? Change the esteem of the incorruptible Elohim. If you damage and bruise something, is it not corrupted? I'm not taking away any I guess reverence from him, but the worship goes to Elohim. All right. Image of corruptible man. Likeness of an image of corruptible man, and of birds, of four-footed beasts, and of reptiles. Therefore Elohim gave them up to uncleanness in the lust of their hearts, to disrespect their bodies among themselves. In America, that's a major thing. Disrespect to the body, among themselves, who changed the truth of Elohim into falsehood and worshipped and served that what was created rather than the Creator, who is blessed forever. Amen. Yahusha was birthed. He was created. That's how I see it. Maybe I'm stretching. Maybe I'm stretching. Reverencing, yes, but worship, that's only for Elohim. Okay. Because of this, Elohim gave them over to their degrading passions, for even their women exchanged natural relations for what is against nature. Man, we see this woman on woman, man on man. And likewise, the men also, having left natural relations with women, burned in their lust for one another. Men with men committing indecency and receiving back the reward which was due for their straying. There's a lot of folks that try to say, oh, ain't nothing about homosexuality in the New Testament. Right there. It's right there. Right there. And even as they did not think it worthwhile to possess the knowledge of Elohim, Elohim gave them over to a worthless mind to do what was improper. Hey, Yah is about order. Always been about order. He created man, and a complement to man, not his equal, but a complement to man, a woman, his helpmeet. So it wasn't Adam and Steve, it was Adam and Eve. It wasn't Eve and Anna, it was Adam and Eve, or Adam and Havah, Shabbat, whatever, but it was Adam and Eve, having been filled with all unrighteousness, whoring, wickedness, greed, evil, filled with envy, murder, fighting, deceit, evil habits, whisperers, slanderers, haters of Elohim, insolent, proud, hey, Pride Month, boasters, devisers of evils, disobedient to parents, without discernment, covenant breakers, unloving, unforgiving, ruthless, who though they know the righteousness, know the righteousness of Elohim, that those who practice such deserve death, not only do the same, but also approve of those who practice them. Welcome to America. Welcome to America. America be approving all type of wickedness. And of course, you can say I was reaching on there. I was reading. And I might have brought some stuff into it that I probably shouldn't. So, disregard this as a teaching, because it ain't a teaching. It ain't a teaching. But I just want to ask some questions. Some of those questions I feel are very viable. Maybe you don't think so. Hey, I have no problem with that. But I think a lot of those questions come into play. And as you see, it says to the Yahudi first and then the Greek. I still ask the question, where is that talking about all the nations of the earth? It said world, but when did Paul connect with every nation of the earth? Where's that record? Where's the record of Asia knowing anything about Yahusha during that time? Where's the record? It might be a record out there. I'm just asking, where is it? I haven't seen it. Where is it? Abiyah, hey, I thank you for this opportunity to talk, but also, thank you for the mercy, because I'm definitely not trying to add into your text or whatever, but I see how interpretation can be taken one way or the other. Right now, I've read into this thing a different way, and I'm not trying to change people to my way of thinking, because even in some of that I read, I don't think like that. I'm just making a mockery sort of and making a joke, but I think we need to ask questions, and maybe you'll assist me in being more. I don't want to be subtle, but being direct in how I ask the question, so that it's done with respect to who you are, but also it's not tiptoeing and being timid and running from sharing who you are truthfully, so that I can placate others and gain favor with them. I just want to be real. I want to do it your way, and whatever that is, whatever result I get from it, so be it. I thank you for that. Hallelujah. All right. Hallelujah.